Good afternoon, everybody. I was sitting here listening to the birds miles away, and I suddenly thought, oops, I should be playing my intro music. So I'm sorry I'm a little bit late, but better late than never, hopefully. How are we all? Hi, Bonnie. Hope you've got your breakfast now. Hi, Marion. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Donna. Hi, Evelyn. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Jean. Good morning, Mo from California. I don't think I've seen that name before. Welcome if it's your first time. Morning, Amy. Don't remember seeing that name either. So again, welcome if it's your first time. Lovely to see you. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Sue. Hi, Sue. Hi, Naomi. I've got some sound on somewhere. Get rid of that. Don't want to hear myself. Hi, Nancy from Winnipeg. 8 a.m. Just bought 6 ink pads and excited. Oh, great. Perfect timing then. I don't think I've seen that name before either. So again, welcome. Hi, Corinne. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Teresa. Yes, the birds are twittering away outside my window. Hi, Doreen. Whip over to Facebook. Hi, Lorraine. Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Claire. Hi, Julie. Hi, Jill. Here by the skin of your teeth. Well, you're here though, Julie. That's all that matters. Hi, Val. Hi. Is it Cheryl or Cheryl? Vicky, Lynn, Andrea. Multitasking. Well, of course, women can do that beautifully, Nikki, so you carry on. Hi, another Lorraine. Wow, it's lovely to see so many of you here. Hi, Janice. Not seen that name before either. Hi, Anne. Right, well, shall we make a start then? There's quite a few of you here. So now I know some of you will have some of the interference inks that I'm going to be using. Some of you won't. But really the main reason that I'm using them today particularly is because they are this week's Lisa's Pick. And it's a fabulous offer. I think they're $67.99, but in that you get one of the ink pad holders, you know, the rubbery, the silicone ones, that was the word I was looking for, the silicone ink pad holders, and they're $14.99 on their own. So not only are you saving on the inks, but you're getting one of the fabulous ink pad holders as well thrown in. So, and don't forget that offer is on all week till Sunday midnight, unless these sell out before then. So if they sell out before Sunday night, then they will no longer be available. So we're doing a background and then we're using the same colours to do some stenciling. Okay, so I'm going to stencil the flower that I've chosen, which is the Exotic Peony. This is still in stock, so if you like what you see today and you want this, both of these are still available. So you get your 3D embossing folder and you get the accompanying die. I'll just show you that. It's over here, out of the way. That's the embossing folder and the die. And of course they cut and they emboss perfectly. And then of course you've got the layering stencils. I think there are seven layering stencils in this set. But as I've always said, you'll get exactly the number that you need to reproduce a beautiful flower. Okay? Absolutely, Bonnie. A peony festival. Wow. May the 18th. Gosh. Right, so I'm using those, and as I say, they're both still in stock. And I'm also using the nested scalloped and plain stitch squares for the base of my card. And again, this is still in stock too. I do like to try and use things that are still available, because whilst I know a lot of you will have them, we've had a very large influx of members recently, so I know that a lot of people might not have some of the earlier things, which is why occasionally we like to go back and use some of the earlier product. Yeah, it's my side, Evelyn. It's because my husband feeds them and we have a garden full of birds. But sort of dinner time, around about 12 o'clock, they just stop, especially in the summer. I think it's the heat. I think they have a snooze. So I just quickly want to run through the colours that you get in these interference inks. And these interference inks obviously are the ones that are different colours depending on what cardstock you're using. Now I'm only using black today because I particularly wanted to do a background and some stenciling on black card, because I think that is where these come into their own. I know Claire did use them on a live quite some time ago. If I can find the video, I will put a link to it when I edit this later. And she just went through how different the colours looked on white card, black card, and I think she used a couple of other coloured cards as well. So that might be worth having a look at, just to see how different they look on different colours. There is also one that Lisa's done. It's one of Lisa's quicker videos using the interference inks, and I will put a link to that as well in the description after I've gone off air. Okay, but you'll see that there are two colours on the lids, and the colour on the left is the colour you'll get on white card. The colour on the right is the colour you will get on black card. Okay, so you've got, this one's cherry bomb, and you've got red and purple. And if I take the lid off, it is a beautiful red. So when you put it down on white card, that's the colour you're going to get. Okay, but when you put it down on black card, it's totally different because it turns purple. They're so clever, these inks. I'm not going to go through every single colour. The reason I've got two different sets here, it's all one set. This is all volume 1. But these are the colours that I'm using today, so that's why they're separate. But they've all got mica in them. And it's just, they're just fabulous. You really have to see them in action to appreciate them. Hi Patricia, no worries. Hi Janet, finished your decorating then? Hi Diana from Pennsylvania. Well, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Okay, so I'm going to put these to one side because these are the ones that I'm not going to be using today. Okay, but I just wanted to show you the range of colours briefly before I started. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is our background piece. Now I've already cut my square. I've already cut the background square that I'm going to use, and I've already got a background that I've done that has totally dried, because because I'm going to be using water, this card is going to sort of warp a little bit, but that's because I'm adding water on it, and I don't want to use that on today's card. I will use the one I'm doing here on a different card. This was one I did yesterday, just on some cheap black paper, to be honest, and the effects that you get are they're just amazing. And these are the same colours that I'm using today as well. Some you can see better than others, and that's because I was a little bit heavy-handed with some and not others. Okay, so that's one I already did, and then I've already done one that I'm going to use today. This is just to show you how easy it is and how much fun you can have. So first one I'm going to use is Sweet Treat Shimmer. Now obviously when I take the lid off this is going to be yellow, so when I put it down on my blending mat, or my sort of, yeah, blending mat, it's going to look yellow, but when I put it onto black card it's going to be pink. Okay, so I've got my water sprays here, and I'm just going to put a little bit of water on here. Don't have to use much. I probably used a little bit too much there, and I'm quite literally just going to add this down onto here like this. This is so much fun. It's messy, but it's fun. Okay, so I'm going to leave that like that. I'm going to dry it off with my heat gun because obviously I don't want to go wet on wet. So I'm going to dry it off with my heat gun, but I'm not going to waste this. I've got a piece of card here, which I'm just going to put down and mop up most of that ink. Okay, so you're not really wasting anything, and this is going to make you a lovely background as well. Okay, so I'm going to put that to one side, and then I'm just going to take off the excess because there isn't very much left anyway. All right, so the next one I'm going to use is Pink Champagne Shimmer. Now this is going to be pink, a really good pink on white card, and it's going to go beautiful soft green on black card. Okay, so as you can see, putting this down on here, it is a beautiful pink. Okay, so I'm going to spray this with my water. Watercolour names and mushrooms and white colours. It's amazing the effects that you get when you do these and you use these inks. They're out of this world. I'm just going to dry this off a little bit, so excuse the noise, because I don't want it to be wet when I put it down into more wet. I want it to dry off a little bit, so I'm just going to quite literally dry off most of the sort of the wet stuff, and then again we're just going to go down on here into the wet ink like so, and then just put it to one side. Again, I'm going to take my white card, going to mop up everything that I've got left on here because I don't want to waste it. And it might look a hot mess when you do it like this, but when you use it as a background, or you cut some letters out or some balloons out or something like that, it will give you the most amazing finish. It really is worth it. Okay, so that's two colours. So then I'm going to go with Magic Garden. Magic Garden goes from a fabulous green on white card to this beautiful soft purple on black card. So again, I'm going to go down with my green, put that over there, spray it with my water. I'm probably a little bit heavy-handed with my water, to be honest. I'm just going to dry this off a little bit. I'm doing it off camera so that hopefully the sound doesn't interfere too much. So when you're doing these, I would leave yourself plenty of time, because you don't want to. I'm just gonna dab that with some kitchen paper. You don't want to be putting wet on wet. So if you're going to use this for a background, leave yourself plenty of time for the card to dry out in between, because it's going to spoil the effect otherwise. Okay, but you can see already those two beautiful colours that are on there. Okay, so again, back down into that green, And you might not see some of the colours straight away. You won't see some of it until it's actually started to dry. So just look for areas where you want a little bit of wet, and perhaps go a bit heavier with one colour and a bit lighter with another colour. It's entirely up to you. It's just about having fun and basically making a mess, because that's what you're doing. So I'm just going to spray that just to wipe that off. And I would always wipe the ink off in between, because you don't want to contaminate your colours too much. The beauty of these inks is they will sit beautifully on top of one another. Okay, so again, I'm just going to dry this off. Okay, you can see already that, I mean, it might look, you might think, what on earth is she doing? That just looks hideous. But trust me, when you've finished and you put your flower on top, it will look fabulous. It really will. So this one, Crushed Velvet, one of my absolute favourites, this one, because this is a beautiful, fabulous purple and white card. But when you put it down onto black card, you get a gorgeous gold. And don't forget that all of these ink pads come with re-inkers as well. So you can do the same sort of effects using your re-inkers. I didn't want to use re-inkers today because, quite simply, it's the ink pads that are on offer. So I wanted to use the ink pads just to show you how versatile they are, really. So again, we're going to go down here and literally just splat this into the, it's a technical term, that splat, into that ink there. And then I'm just going to put my white card down on top of it and mop up the majority of what's left on there. I mean, you can carry on and add more colour to this white card if you wanted to. I'm just using it really as a way to mop up what colour there is left on my mat. So just wipe that off there, and then we've got one other colour to go down with, and that's this fabulous sapphire gold. So on white card you would get this gorgeous blue, and then on black card you'll get this gorgeous green colour. Okay, now I know we've already got a green, but this is a totally different green, so that's why I wanted to use this as well. But with the blending inks, yeah, the blending inks do exactly the same job. It's just that because these change colour on different coloured card, that you'll just get a totally different effect. But they are, it's a great technique whichever inks you're using. So again, I'm just going to dry this off. It probably isn't as dry as I would like it, but I don't want to take too much time drying it off. But you can see how many different colours there are in there already. I just think it's a fabulous technique. So again, we're going to go down. We're going to add this fabulous blue, which isn't going to be blue on black card. It's going to be a gorgeous green. And again, you won't really see it until it's dry. I'm going to put that there. And then again, I'm going to mop up with my white card. It's quite a porous card, this, as you can see, because the colour's coming through. But you could use copy paper, you could use anything really. But you'd be surprised if you cut out a word in this, how effective it looks. If you again cut it in a black card and give it a drop shadow, it will look amazing. In fact, I might do that afterwards and just put the letters on my photograph when I post the photograph in the group with the video. So I'm just going to dry this off a little bit, and then we'll have another look at it once we finish the rest of the card, just to see how it's dried off. Okay, so you can actually see two different greens in there. So I'm just going to put that to one side because, as I say, I've already got a background that I've done, again, with exactly the same colours. So this was one that I did this morning, and I let the card totally dry. If you've got sort of, when this dries out, if it's a little bit bendy like mine is, just sit it under a couple of heavy books and it'll flatten out beautifully. As you can see, this one has done already. Okay, but I just love the backgrounds you can get depending on which colours you use. They're all going to look so totally different. Yeah, obviously, so it can. Right, so let's bring my Ultimate 2 in. Get rid of that, I didn't need that. Take my cover off my tacky mat, and then I can put my black card down here, ready for my stenciling. Okay, now, as Lisa says, use your stencil brushes, so these, or you could use your sponges. I particularly like using the stencil brushes. The interference inks don't particularly like the Wonder brushes because these have got quite a large surface area. This ink does tend to dry out quite quickly. So if you're going to use these, they will work. I have used them and they do work, but you have to work really, really quickly, because the ink does tend to dry out really quite quickly. So if you're going to use these, use them, add plenty of ink and use them quickly, because otherwise you're going to find yourself not being able to blend your ink, and these interference inks do blend really, really beautifully. So let's go on to our Exotic Peony. I'm going to keep the picture of the flowers in front of me just to help me with my colour choices. I may swap some in, I may not. So I might stick to the colours that I've decided on, but then again, I might not. So if I just pop you the colours up there, then you can see which colours that I'm actually using. And I've used exactly the same colours on that background piece. Okay, so I want to stick with the same colours for both the flower and the background. Okay, so there's been an awful lot joining. Hi, Connie. There's been an awful lot joining while I've been chatting, so I apologise if I've missed you joining, but welcome to everybody. So now we're gonna start doing our stenciling with the Exotic Peony stencils. Okay, so I'm gonna go in here and I need a green because these are all the leaves. All right, so the green I can either use the Sapphire Gold or the Pink Champagne Shimmer. They both are going to give me a type of green. But it's quite different. I think I'm going to go with this one, and we'll see what it looks like. Now, obviously, I've got a pink ink pad, but it's going to turn green. So you must use the brush that corresponds with the colour of the ink pad. Okay, take no notice of what colour it's going to be. It's a pink ink pad, so you need a pink brush. Okay. This is purple, but I have taken most of the ink off, so I should be fine. And then, as you do with all your other blending inks, you just go in through those apertures. The only thing I would say is try not to use too much ink to start with. Because these are really quite wet ink pads, you might run the risk of a little bit of bleed if you're too heavy-handed. But when I say if you're too heavy-handed, you've got to be really heavy-handed for that to happen, okay? But they are quite wet ink pads when you're adding them down. The ink will dry reasonably quickly, but the ink itself, when you're adding it, is quite wet. I know that sounds a bit, odd, Irish even, but trust me, it makes sense. When you get these inks home and you try them, do a scrap piece and use a lot of ink and you'll see what I mean. So these are not actual blending inks. They are blending inks, Janet. They blend beautifully. Yeah, they are blending inks. Okay, so I don't know whether it shows up on camera, but on this piece here, because I went quite heavy with my ink, you can see a pink shimmer all the way around the edge. As that dries, that will disappear, so don't worry about that, okay? So now I'm going to come in with the base of my flowers, and I think I'm going to go with this Sweet Treat. Now obviously this is a yellow ink pad, so I'm going to be using a yellow brush, and this is going to give me a beautiful pink, hopefully. Should do. And you can see how beautifully they're laid down on the card. But if you, like I say, if you were going to try and use your Wonder Brush, if I show you actually, it might be easier just to show you what happens. So if I take my ink off here and go in here, you can see that as soon as I've started, it's literally gone dry, okay? And I'm going to have to keep going back and going back, and it's not going to work. So stick with your stencil brushes or your sponges that Lisa was selling when these first came out. The sponges will work equally as well. Occasionally, I think the reason I use these is because I do find that the sponges can tend to hold on to the ink. So when I say you'll get a little bit of bleed, you get more of a bleed with the sponges, in my opinion. Other people may totally disagree with me, but that's what I found, and that's why I tend to stick to the stencil brushes, because I find that they blend beautifully, they give me a nice coverage, they don't dry out too quickly, and I don't get too much ink. Okay, so that's layer 2. I don't know whether you can see the colour on there. If I lift it up maybe, can you see that colour? That is going to be fabulous when it's finished. Okay, so now I'm going to come on and I'm going to add a different colour. Now I've got different stencils giving me different flowers, so I can make these flowers look totally different, or indeed I can make them all look a similar colour. And this is why I said I may change out some of the colours, or I may add another colour in. So I'm going here with Magic Garden. Magic Garden is green on white card, and it gives you a beautiful purple colour on black card. So I'm going on top of this pink, and I'm using a green brush, because obviously on the mylar it's going to look green, but once it goes down onto this black card, it's going to be a fabulous, beautiful purple colour. What's this bit here? It's this part of leaf. I'm going to leave that bit, and I'm going to go back in with that pink champagne there. And that's why I've left the picture in front of me, just to give me a guide really on what I'm actually looking at. Because I can see this is a flower, but then if you get a little odd bit here, you want to just refer to the packaging just to make sure that you're going to colour it in the right colours. So I've gone on there with that Magic Garden. I do love this colour, and it on white card, the green is awesome. It's a fabulous, fabulous green. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to go back on with that pink champagne, and I'm just going to do this bit down here green and hope that it should be green. So that's number 3. Oh yes, liking that. Looks really nice. You'll see it more when I finish it and I hold it up at the end. Okay, so now I've got some little flowers up here, and then I've got this bunch of different coloured flowers down here. Now I am going to add in the fruit salad. It's not on that list, but I'm going to add it because I want this yellow. Okay, I want this yellow on these flowers and these flowers down here. So I need a red brush. I'll use a new one, and we'll go in at the top here with this beautiful red. And when I take this away, you'll see that it is actually really quite a nice yellow colour. some of the colours show up better once they're totally dry. So don't put it down and be watching it like I'm doing it now, and as you're doing it thinking, oh, this is totally the wrong colour, I'm gonna scrap it. Don't. Wait until you've finished, because even if it isn't the colour you're expecting it to be, you might find that you really like the colour it ends up as being. Does that make sense? I need a bit of green on there. So I'm going to put that bit of green down there, because again, I think that's leaf. So that's number 4. Oh yes, I'm liking this. Now this is on Lisa's black texture card. All I would say about black card is you will get different results on different card. What I wouldn't use is a shiny black card, because it doesn't work. I've found, in my opinion, that's only me saying it, I've found that shiny black card doesn't like interference inks. Use a matte black card, one with hardly any shine to it, okay, and then I don't think you'll be disappointed. Yeah, exactly, Nikki. They are very juicy, the sponges, and that's when I found more of a sort of a leakage, if you like, you know, a seepage under the stencil, was when I used the sponges. Hi Vanda, no worries. Okay, so now I've got veins on leaves down here, so I'm going to need a different type of green, so I'm going to go with the sapphire gold. But then on top of here, I'm going to need a totally different colour, because I need to put the detail in on where I've used those yellow flowers. And here I want a deeper purple, really, than this Magic Garden. So I'm going to go in with warm chestnut. Now you can see that looks like a really purpley browny colour. You can't really. It's sort of like a purple colour with a brown colour in it. It's a gorgeous colour, but when you put it on black card, it's going to give you this really deep purple. So I'm going to go with that one and do this flower here. Okay, so we'll go in with a small brush, and you can see that when you put it down on the mylar, it's that beautiful sort of brown colour, hence the name warm chestnut. But as you're putting it down onto black card, it's going to give you a really beautiful purple colour, and I'm hoping that it's the right purple colour to sort of bounce off the other one, if you like. So just fill that carefully there, and then we can go and do the green here. So I'm going to go in with this sapphire gold, and you can see it's a really bluey colour. So this green is going onto all the veins on the leaves. And the reason I like the interference inks personally is they're so quick. They give a really good finish very, very quickly. So do those leaves, and then for these flowers here, because the base flower is yellow, I think, what shall we do? I think we'll go with a teal. So I'm going to use Royal Truffle, which is brown, beautiful brown colour. Can you see that? It looks very not dissimilar to the warm chestnut, to be honest, but it is a totally different colour. If I show you two side by side, oops, it is a totally different colour. You probably can't see it on camera, but one's got sort of more of a bluey tint, whereas the other one's got more of a purpley red tint. But they are very, very different. I'll make sure I put the lids on the right ones now. I think that was Like that one. Heck. We'll soon find out when we put it down on our mylar. So let's just try on here. Yeah, that's a brown. So we're going to go on top of here with that royal truffle. And this is going to give me a really nice teal colour. I'm just hoping that it still shows up the yellow base, but whatever. I don't mind if it doesn't. It'll still look fab. Oh yes, can still see it. I know you won't be able to see it at the moment, but you will when I hold it up, I promise. So I am just going to dab that off, because that royal truffle, that warm chestnut rather, was quite wet. So you can see there is some ink on my paper there, but it won't spoil anything. Okay, so now I'm coming in here and I can go again with that fruit salad and go with that sort of yellow colour. So I'll take my red brush. It messes with your head, this does. It seriously messes with your head, because you're using red, and when you put it down on the card, it won't be red. It is. I'm using a red brush on a red ink pad to give me yellow. It seriously messes with your head. Did your stomach do a flip as well, Lorraine, like mine did? I'm just glad my piece of card is the right size. Right, this little piece here I think is going to be green. So we will go in there with that pink champagne again. Down there. Take that off. And then the last one is number 7. And this is going to give us our sort of stems and the centres of these flowers here. So I've got stems here, and what did I use? That teal, didn't I? So we'll go in there with that warm, royal truffle. That gives me that browny colour on there, but it gives me a teal. And I might actually do, I need something really dark here. Might actually use that Galaxy Dream. Let's see. Oh. Drop the lid. Ink all over my thumb now. But never mind. Never mind. No, we won't. We'll use the crushed velvet, because that's going to give me a nice gold stem. So this is that really, really vibrant sort of plummy burgundy colour. So I'm going to go in here with this, and this is going to give me gold stems. And I'm going to do these sort of seed heads in the same colour, just so that they stand out, hopefully. Now I'm going to, when I've taken this off here, I am just going to put a piece of card on the top to try and dry off some of the ink before I put it in my embossing folder. So again, if you're making a card that you need in a hurry, start it sooner rather than later, because these inks will stay a little bit wetter than your ordinary blending inks as well. Okay, so I don't know whether you probably won't see all the detail until I emboss it, but if I move it around slightly, can you see the detail down here? So I've got a yellow background and I've got that beautiful sort of teal colour on the top, and the same up here with these flowers up here. It's very difficult to show these interference inks and their beauty on camera, but you can see here where all the detail is. It really does look fabulous, and there is detail on all those leaves as well. I don't know if I don't want, it might go out of focus, that's the trouble. So I will just dry it off a little bit. So I'm just going to take a piece of scrap card and I am just going to rub that over the top, just so that it, see there is ink on this card, so it is quite wet. Can you see that? I don't know whether you can, there is ink on here. And you don't want that really to transfer into your embossing folder. It's not going to matter if it does, because you can soon wash it off. So you know, it's not a huge problem, but if you can stop it happening, well, why not? So I'm going to die cut this, and then I'm going to run it through the embossing folder, and then I'm going to add it to the base card. So remember, you've always got a 1 to 2 mil border around your stenciling for your die. So don't try and line it up with the edge of your die against the edge of your flower. What you're looking for is like a 1 mil black border all the way around your flower. When you've placed your die, then you'll know your die's in the right place. Okay, so I'll just move my brushes out of the way, and then we'll just run this through my die cutting machine. And then we can emboss it. Okay, so put that to one side. And then we can pop it into our embossing folder. I'm really liking the detail that's showing on there. It looks really fabulous. So again, as I always say, and as Lisa always says, find yourself a point that you're happy with. So if I'm looking at this piece down here, if I line all those flowers up, you should find that the rest of the folder will follow suit. Okay, so looking at all the rest, I'm happy that everything's going to sit where it should do. Okay, so I'm holding on to this as I close the back so that it's not going to move. Remember to change the sandwich for your plates, putting it through your die cutting machine, so that you don't wreck your die cutting machine or your folder being the important thing. And then we'll flip that out of there. Now you can see the detail. The embossing on that is amazing, but it just makes the detail on all that colour just pop beautifully. Okay, so if I just put my cover back on there, keep that clean. Now on here, the other thing I thought of, I watched a little reel that our fabulous Maria did the other day, and I know she loves to use Lisa's waxes. So I thought, I wonder if adding the wax will just add a little bit more dimension. So it might ruin it, it might not. I don't think it will, but let's give it a go. So I'm just going to wipe my, where's my bit of card? Wipe my brush in that. This is the vintage gold that I'm using. Okay. Might actually wet it, I think. So I'm going to take a little bit out of there. Where's my mat? I'm going to put that on there, like so. You won't need very much at all of this wax, because it does go an awful long way. I'm going to mix it with some water, and then I'm just going to mix it up so that I'm sort of softening that wax into the water, if you like. So it's giving me, can you see how that is becoming sort of a paint rather than an actual wax? Okay, so I'm holding the brush at the end, so it's really, really light. Hello, Lisa. And then I'm just going to quickly brush over the top of this stenciling. I've probably gone a little bit too heavy, but I don't think it'll matter, because when you've finished, you can probably buff it up a little bit. It just gives it an extra little bit of dimension. I'm a little bit heavy over here, but whatever. You've done all your packing, Lisa? Yeah, it's a little bit heavy up the top, but if we just add a little bit more down to other parts, just to soften it up. Don't do what I did. Go really light. Put less on your brush. Okay, as you can see here, you can actually see the brush marks here. So what you need to do is go very light. Put less of the wax on your brush before you brush it over your image. But I still think it looks okay. I'm still going to use it. So then I just need my card base. So it's a 6x6 card. Because I didn't want a huge card for this. I just really literally wanted something quite small. So I'm going to put this down here, and I'm doing all this flat, but I might use a little bit of glue gel on that flower, just to make the flower stand up a little bit. So this is going flat. Now I've just got to decide which way I like. I'm going to put that there. So just look at your background, see where your patterns are, which piece you want to be more obvious, which piece you want to be less obvious. If you've got a piece that you're really not happy with, make sure you can cover it up with your flower. Still got okay. Okay, Connie, no worries. Okay, so that's my base card, and then my flower is just going to sit on the top. I am going to use my 3D glue gel on there, just to give it a little bit of height and a bit of dimension. Oops. Let's just get rid of that rubbish. And then we can pop our 3D glue on the back. If you want to use pads, you can use pads as well. This is just a little bit quicker. So that's why I'm using this today. You can use as little or as much as you like. I just don't like the flower or whatever it is I'm putting on the top. I don't like it to sag in the middle, because sometimes you can be faced with sort of something that dips a little bit in the middle, and I don't like that. So always try and put a little bit more rather than less. So then we're just going to add that down there, like so. It's a very different card for me. This is sort of more mixed media-y-ish, and I'm not a mixed media person, but I really like the inks and I like the effect that you get. So then I'm just going to put my sentiment. I've just chosen a couple from the I think it was from the Modern Florals kit, or it might have been the washi sets. I can't remember now. But there's loads of sentiments that you've got in your stash of Lisa's. So just choose an appropriate sentiment for the, who you want to send it to. And I'm just going to 3D glue gel this again, just for speed, really. But the interference inks, I have to say, they are amazing, and you will have such a lot of fun. Just let yourself have fun. Don't plan anything. Maybe just the colours that you're going to use, but don't plan how you're going to set it out. Don't plan where your colours are going to go. Just go for it. And I'm quite sure that when you've finished, you will love what you end up with. So there you go. Definitely went too heavy with the wax, but it is what it is. It is a mixed media wax finish card, which is very, very, very different for me. But the backgrounds I like. This one now, it's dry, well, dry-ish, is just, the colours that you get in here are just amazing. I think they're just incredible. So, you know, have a go, enjoy it. Where's the one I've done today? That was the one I did yesterday. What have I done with the one I did today? There it is. So now this one's dried, you can see that there's a lot more of that gold in there and that beautiful pink than there was on this one. But either way, doesn't matter what colours you use, you're going to get different, you know, different finishes every time, and you'll never get the same colours twice. Just give it a go, Sandy. You know, it's I know what you mean about black cards, but use black cards and try the opaque white ink on top. Just, you know, just give it a go. I promise you will get to a point where you think, why haven't I done more of these? So, you know, your typing is terrible today. Your typing's terrible every day, Lisa. Grax Mar Bonnie, indeed. Right, so I will love you and leave you there. If you want the interference inks, go and look at the front page of the website, Lisa's Pick of the Week, $67.99 until Sunday, and you get included the whole of volume 1 plus one of the ink pad holders, which are $14.99 on their own, and you're getting that for free. So it's a fabulous deal, well worth considering. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. Quite enjoyed it myself. Wish I hadn't gone so heavy on the wax, but whatever. So I will love you and leave you there. Claire will be with you tomorrow at 2 and again on Thursday at 2. And yeah, that's it. Lisa flies off on Wednesday, off to the good old US of A. So I'm sure she will drop in with a little video of some sort at some point. But safe flight, Lisa, and knock 'em dead. I know you'll be amazing. So thank you very much for joining me, everybody, and I will see you all again next week. So have a fabulous week and take care of yourselves. Bye now.